Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Today in the Bible Bistro we're looking at Psalm 55 verses 20 and 21. As I said yesterday, these verses really sort of speak to the root of the problem, which we find out in 13 and 14 in those verses, that it's not a bunch of people, but there's just one person that has really broken his heart. I mean, it's bad enough that it's his son, if this is the case, that it's Ahithophel. It's bad enough that it's his son that's rebelled against him. But this man, his equal, his friend, he's given in to something and has sacrificed his friendship with David for what? We don't know. Is he sacrificing it for advantage, for honor, for money, for possession, for something? Who knows what it is? Anyway, we're going to look today at verses 20 and 21 and find out a little bit more about this man Ahithophel, or the man who has betrayed David, whoever that is. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. That's verses 20 and 21. He hath put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. So, he's betrayed his friend. His friend is at peace. His friend thinks, we're still friends. We're still buddies, nothing's wrong. But behind his back, behind David's back, this man is working his wicked devices. Put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. And of course, David now, he's at peace because he says God has delivered his soul in peace from the battle that was against him. But this man, apparently, he hasn't reached that point because he's still at war. He has put his hands against such as be at peace with him. And then the B part of that verse is he's broken his covenant. This is this really speaks to the whole thought of divorce. This is what divorce does. Divorce breaks peace, and it breaks covenant, and it ruins the relationship between husband and wife. And, one party thinks they're still okay, they're at peace, and the other party is conniving and doing behind the back the things that would bring nothing but destruction to the marriage covenant. And they break the covenant of marriage. And that's exactly what Ahithophel has done with David. It's not a marriage covenant, but it's a covenant of friendship. And so he's done this, he's put forth his hands, he's broken the covenant. Look at 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. That's very descriptive language, isn't it? Smoother than butter. Butter is very smooth, isn't it? And at this early stage in the human world, butter was appreciated as something smooth. Smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So words might sound good, but what's in the heart? That's what matters. And in his heart was war. His words were softer than oil. Lovely, isn't it, this Hebrew poetry? We get the parallelism. Words of his mouth smoother than butter, his words softer than oil. But war was in his heart, yet they were drawn swords. That's the B part there. Yet they were drawn swords. Yeah, this reminds me of Psalm 120. There when the psalmist is talking about, or begins his travelogue, he's all the way out in the tents of Kedar. And he says there, when I speak of peace, they're for war. Yeah, so he's in a place that is not healthy for his soul. And David is with a man, apparently, or has been with a man, that has war in his heart, and his words, even though they seem smooth, even though they seem soft, it's deceptive. And they are drawn swords. All right, well, tomorrow we will find out what this maskil is all about. So join me then here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.